morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Charity. I'm your Chief Flight Attendant. On behalf of Captain Pantaleon and the entire crew, welcome aboard Flight GNED 15 of CVSU International Airport, non-stop service from the Philippines to Hokkaido, Japan. Our flight time will be of 4 hours and 14 minutes, and we will be flying at an altitude of 35,000 feet above sea level at a ground speed of 550 to 580 miles per hour. At this time, make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position and that your seatbelt is correctly fastened. Also, your portable electronic devices must be set to airplane mode until an announcement is made upon arrival. If you have any questions about our flight today, please don't hesitate to ask one of our flight attendants. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is Charity, your Chief Flight Attendant. And now we are going to familiarize ourselves with a brief introduction and background about Japan. Japan is also known as the land of the rising sun. It is an archipelagic country that has 4 main islands, and these are the Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, and Kyushu. The southern island group of Okinawa is geographically, historically, and culturally distinct. Earthquakes became a common occurrence because the islands lie on the major fault lines, and it has approximately of 1,500 volcanoes. Japan is one of the world's principal seagoing nations, with an important marine fishing sector. It is a constitutional monarchy with 2 legislative houses. Its symbol of the state is the emperor, and the head of the government is the prime minister. Human habitation in Japan is thought to date to at least 30,000 years ago, and Japan was settled about 35,000 years ago by the Paleolithic people from the Asian mainland. At the end of the last ice age, about 10,000 years ago, a culture called the Jomon developed. Jomon hunter-gatherers fashioned fur clothing, wooden houses, and elaborate clay vessels. And for the linguistic affiliation of Japan, the official and predominant language of Japan is Japanese or Nihongo. Japanese is linguistically related to Korean. They have similarities in syntax, vocabulary, and grammar. Chinese orthography was endorsed to Japan along with the Buddhism, which was used to transform Japanese into a written language. On the other hand, the written system Romaji is used to transcribe Japanese into the Roman alphabet.
Mabuhay! I am Crystal Syla, one of the flight attendants of Flight GNED 15, and today, we are going to explore Japanese literature.
Japanese literature is a body of works made by Japanese writers during early times, at a time when Japan had no written language using the Chinese classical language. This literature can be hardly read. Kin 2016 cited that sometimes it can be understood through the level of politeness in which the words are couched.
For example, the verb mesu, which means to eat, to wear, or to ride in a carriage.
Despite of these difficulties, Japanese literature appear appealing to readers, whether it is the original or translated one, because it is very subjective and colored by emotional tone rather than intellectual.
Japanese literature lack in stress and meaning for rhymes.
Poetry in Japanese can be easily distinguished from prose through their alternating 5 and 7 syllables. However, if the intensity of emotional expression is low, this distinction alone cannot save a poem from dropping into prose. They have what they call as tanka, a 5-line, 31-syllable form, cannot fulfill some functions of the longer poetic poems and Japanese literature has no equivalence to the great longer poems of the Western literature. Kojiki is the most ancient document concerning the myths and history of the Japanese people. Some of the early songs lack a fixed metrical form. The lines, consisting of an indeterminate number of syllables, were strung out to irregular lengths. Some of them were transcribed and became the classical Japanese form, which is the tanka. Tanka has themes like love, passion, courting, nature, natural beauty, life and death, and the affairs of ordinary men and women. Manyoshu is a magnificent anthology of poetry during the Nara period. Most of its poems are tanka, but its masterpieces are choka. Choka is a long poem ranging up to 150 lines in length and cast in the form of alternating lines in 5 and 7 syllables, followed by a concluding line in 7 syllables. Its themes are death, glory to imperial family, and the hardships of military service.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mae Rose, and I am one of the flight attendants of this flight GNED 15. We are going to familiarize ourselves with some of the authors of Japan literature. I am asking for your attention to please listen and enjoy. Thank you. First, we have Haruki Murakami. Haruki Murakami is a known author of Japanese literature. He is a novelist, short story writer, and has best-selling works internationally. Next is Ishikawa Tokuboku. Ishikawa Tokuboku is a Japanese poet and master of tanka. His works are popular for their freshness and startling imagery. And lastly, we have Banana Yoshimoto. Banana Yoshimoto is the pen name of Mahoko Yoshimoto. Her writings are a voice for struggling youth in Japan. Her simple descriptions of dreams, of the smell of food hint at the deeper meaning within memories, emotions, the trials and tribulations of contemporary life.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just landed at New Chitose Airport. CBSU Air welcomes you to Hokkaido. On behalf of your flight and crew headed by Captain Pantaleon, together with the rest of the crew, would like to thank you for making CBSU Air airline of your choice. Muli kami ay nagpapasalamat sa inyong pagtangkilik sa CBSU Air. Magandang umaga.